Coming to you live from the Red Eagle Inn, this is Optimal Play. I'm Brandon, and I'm going to be playing Dungeon Page's Underboss, a print and play kind of spiritual successor to Dungeon Pages, both of which are by P&P Arcade, a website where you can go to. It's sort of a marketplace of print and play games, and also for their in-house developed games, they do an annual Kickstarter, which covers a core set for. They're all sort of dungeon crawler-ish, have similar game systems. I've really enjoyed them so far. There's a core set, and then also you can purchase access to the year-long adventure over the next year, where they'll release a page per week for 52 weeks. That is a feat that I have never kept up with, but I've enjoyed playing a few pages of each game at a minimum. That Kickstarter is November 28th, Black Friday. So if you want inexpensive games, I think that one probably will be. And it is, and I should say, this is a demo copy that they provided for me. The files. My office provided the ink and the paper. So thank you to both P&P Arcade and my workplace for making this playthrough possible. So, it was a good weekend for solo games for me. My husband he just got back today when I'm recording this, in New York for the Wicked for Good premiere. He was hobnobbing with Hollywood big shots, not in Hollywood for some reason. They did it in New York. That was cool for him. Here, I sat home in Los Angeles where it rained all weekend, from pretty much the minute he left to the minute he got back. It was raining, so I was cooped up by myself with three corgis and three kind of increasingly rambunctious corgis. I actually have some bite marks from a fight I had to break up. It was that kind of weekend, but there's plenty of time for solo games to stay out of the rain, and so it was great timing to try out Dungeon Pages. And now the weekend's over. I'm back to work, having an after-work beer, getting in another game. So let's talk about what this is. I've played Dungeon Pages quite a bit. I will talk a little bit about how this relates to it if you're a fan, but then as I kind of explain the game as I play through it, I'm not going to assume you know anything about Dungeon Pages, so don't worry about that. But if you have played Dungeon Pages, which is a roll and write, you're usually using anywhere from 2 to 6 dice, sort of some evil dice and some good dice. In that game, it's a dungeon crawler, and you are a hero advancing through dungeons that look a lot like these ones, that are usually 6x6 grids. You're placing numbers. You end up with something that looks sort of like a dungeon crawler Sudoku, because you are writing numbers as your hero explores the dungeon, and you are using those dice to both they trigger monsters and traps and other things that you're trying to avoid or defeat in the dungeons, but also you're utilizing those to explore the dungeon, to trigger your own abilities and your own gear, and to level up and make it all the way through and defeat the boss at the end. Underboss takes those same themes but flips them. It's a dungeon defense game. So on this page, I will be playing as Thera, the Fallen Knight. Thera has forsaken her fellow knights and the school. And we'll be playing through heroes raiding each of 3 dungeons from left to right here: the Crypt, the Red Eagle Inn, and the Sewers. They make up Highmount Village, known as the birthplace of Collop Tree Pond. So do with that information what you will, I guess. The heroes are one at a time going to be raiding these dungeons, and I am going to be using my own abilities to do things like bash and slash and equip armor, as well as summoning monsters and deploying traps to try to defeat the heroes as they move through the dungeons. My goal is ideally, so I'm considered, I think this is how this works. I mean, it's a solo game. You can set your own goals. I'm considered to have won if I am not defeated. I, Thera, have 20 hit points. There are these pluses along here. As far as I'm aware, there is no healing or anything. Damage is completely permanent, so gotta watch out for that. As long as after the raids on all 3 dungeons are done, I'm not defeated, I win. But then there's a scoring system where I get 10 points for each hero that I've defeated. They have similar health bars. I'll be dealing damage to them. I get 10 points for each defeated hero, but any that survive, not only do I not get those 10 points, but any loot that they picked up along the way is worth minus points. Up to, if they have all 4 types of loot, up to minus 11. So it's like even more than cancel out one of your defeats. So That's kind of the goal, is survive the game and then score as well as possible out of a possible 50. Okay, so I'm not going to explain everything up front, but what I will do is get started on setting up for the crypt. There's sort of a setup phase, and then the heroes raid the dungeon, and we'll repeat that 3 times. So the first thing that needs to happen is this boss grid. This represents me. Specifically, that icon is me, and the rest of this is sort of my reach, I guess, within this dungeon, my influence. I'm not sure how big these dungeons are, but anyway, I stand there and can kind of fight back against the heroes, and also when the heroes attack, when their abilities deal damage to any part of this grid, they will damage me, my health bar. So I need to start each dungeon by by marking where my self goes with a star. I'm going to try it here. This is different from when I played this off camera, so I'm trying a little different strategy. And then I draw that exact shape into this dungeon. I apologize that I'm not a good artist or very steady-handed even, so the art may not be great. Beer will help though, so I'll keep chugging this. And hopefully, I'll admit, this bright white page under those bright lights here, it took a lot of tinkering with camera settings and lights to get this to play as well on camera as it does, so I hope that this is relatively legible. I'm sorry if it isn't. Turns out that like bright lights and the types of cameras that I'm using and bright white paper, they don't get along. It's pretty easy to blow everything out. So hopefully this reads well enough to follow. So I've drawn myself here, and then I get this number of crystals before each dungeon to purchase abilities for my boss, for me. So you have a different menu here that I believe kind of each page that has a different boss that you are when you play that page will have a different sort of menu of abilities that will make them play very differently. So my options are to bash or slash. I can write a B onto one of the squares on this grid, and then when I activate it by spending evil dice during the raid, if there's a hero currently standing on the corresponding space, like if I put a B, let's say the upper left corner here, then if there's a hero currently standing here, I can spend dice to bash him. And I can do it again and again and again, but just for 1 damage each time. Neat, but I'm a bigger fan of slash. Slash costs a crystal, versus bash was actually free, which maybe I'm going to say why I'm not going to buy any bashes. I think that they're maybe kind of a trap to clutter your grid with them, because you can buy as many as you want. Slash deals a damage in its space and makes the hero bleed, and when a hero bleeds for the rest of the game, all 3 dungeons if you do it early enough, whenever they take damage, they'll take an extra damage. So it amps damage for the whole game. I think that's super cool. It is harder to line up because you have to have a 6 specifically to trigger it while a hero is standing on a slash space. But I'm the type of person who likes to take risks and set up what will hopefully be some big plays. So I'm definitely going to invest in some slashes. The other things I can do is armor. It costs a crystal. It lets me discard any evil die during the raid to prevent a damage. So when I get attacked, if there's an unused evil die, discard it, prevent a damage. It does not matter where in the grid it goes. So it's kind of, I can just tuck it somewhere where I don't think I am going to wish that I could have put something else. And then I can purchase runes for 2 crystals each. They let me sacrifice one of these horror shade monsters that I can deploy in order to prevent a damage for each rune that I have and reflect it back at the hero. So I had a pretty good off-camera strategy that I think I'm going to try to duplicate here, because it's, to me, kind of the best way to play this boss, where in the late game, using the crystals that I get in the later dungeons, I'm going to buy a lot of those runes and try to, when the heroes hit me, hit them back for 3, 4, 5 damage. We'll see if it goes as well as last time. So I get 4 crystals now to spend. Here's what I want to do. I think I want 3 slashes. Like I said, I think that it's high risk, high reward, and I want to maximize that potential for reward. 3 slashes and an armor. The armor can go anywhere and gives me the option to prevent damage. That seems like a no-brainer. I'm going to put it here where it represents the space that is actually a wall in this particular dungeon at least, so heroes aren't going to stand there anyway. And then I'm going to buy 3 slashes. Something like that. Hopefully that orange color is playing well enough on camera. I'm just doing that for the boss stuff. I'm gonna, be be creative, multiple colors. It also is going to help because my S's and my 5s look alike. That's just my handwriting. They look nearly identical, and they both are in this game kind of a lot, S's and 5s, so 2 colors helps with that as well. All right, so we're ready. We've selected where to stand. We've upgraded our hero, or sorry, the hero in my mind. We're the real hero here, but the game calls us a boss, and these are the heroes. Now we're ready for the first raid on the crypt to begin. We see from these dice icons that each turn in this dungeon we're going to roll 1 good die and 2 evil dice. So I'm going to set one of these blue good dice aside, and we're going to roll these and get started. All right, so evil, I rolled a 1 and a 6, and good, I rolled a 5. So the very first thing that happens is that heroes activate. So when a hero activates, they are numbered 1 through 5. On a 6, nothing happens actually. I dodge a bullet on a 6, and it feels great, but it didn't happen here. So the hero activates, and they're going to start at the door, and then this arrow tells us how many spaces they'll move and what direction. So Mira is going to move from the door 4 spaces to the right. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. She will land there. So we write a 4. So currently that's where she's standing. When she moves again, we will cross that out and put a 4 in the applicable place. As soon as she stops moving, if there's any loot in her row or column, she's going to grab it. So she grabs the key and has it circled here, which means that's the most valuable loot actually. -5 points if she survives this game. So I would really like to not let that happen. All right. So she's moved. Oh, she's not done yet. Her ability is to roll a die to determine a column and then deal 1 damage to all threats in that column. So threats include monsters and me. They cannot damage traps. So hopefully I don't roll a 1 through 4. If I do, she damages me. Rolled a 5, so she's going to attack her own column. She doesn't hurt herself. She's not a threat. So great, dodge that bullet. I'll dodge that arrow. That went great. Okay, so now I can spend these evil dice to do evil things. And I think that this early on, what I definitely want to do is place traps. I have a 6, which lets me, by the way, traps, I get why summoning monsters or deploying monsters is something that you wouldn't do until the heroes show up. But I do think it's a little bit of a weird flavor thing that you also don't start placing traps until the heroes are here, ransacking your dungeon. It feels like that's not really the spirit of traps. It feels like you do that, like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. He knew how to trap. He did it before the Wet Bandits arrived at his house. Anyway, that was an aside. So I'm going to spend the 6 on a poison dart. This says that whenever a hero is marked in this trap's row, I roll a die, and on a 1 through 4, that hero gains poison. Poison means that they'll take 1 damage at the start of all of their future activations. Heroes have 7 to 10 hit points each, so it's just starting early to damage them every round seems incredible. So I'm going to stick that trap, I think, here. Hopefully that looks like a P. And now if a hero goes into that row, I potentially poison them. And then with this 1, I think I'll deploy the other trap, a chopping blade. On a 1, 2, or 3, you can spend that die. And that is similar, but if a hero is marked in that trap's column, then you roll, and on a 1 through 4, the hero takes a damage. So I'm just going to throw that here, I think. You can write in your own section. Yeah, now this row and this column, I have traps ready to spring. By the way, the dungeon ends when, I don't know how well it's playing on camera, but there are these path spaces that have dotted outlines and light green interior. And that represents sort of the critical path that the heroes need to take to grab all the loot and get out of the dungeon. When those are all marked, the dungeon immediately ends. Or you finish that turn and the dungeon ends. And so I need to watch out for, if I deploy monsters and traps on those spaces, I'm sort of helping the heroes with their objective. Still might be the right play, but it is a risk. Okay, so We activated the hero. We spent both of our dice deploying traps. It's a new turn. I'm going to roll again. Hey, there's a 6. No heroes this time. Very cool. All right. And I rolled another 6. I think you can never have too many poison traps. So yeah, since there's a nice juicy row with 3 potential places for them to land here, I think I will go ahead and put a poison trap right there. It's too late for it to hit Mira, but the next time someone comes through that door, it'll hit them. And my 2, I guess we'll place a gargoyle. So monsters you place during the dungeon, and they, when they activate, which includes right when you place them, they, at least these monsters, you can see this from page to page, this could all be different, but they deal damage to adjacent squares, and that's orthogonally adjacent. So I would need to put this next to Mira, or I could place it somewhere where I can spend more dice to activate the same monster later. But I guess why not? I know I'm marking another green space, but I don't claim to be good at this game. I'm going to place a gargoyle here, and it will immediately deal 1 damage to Mira. So 1 down, 8 hit points to go on her. All right, the turn is over. I'm going to roll again. It's another 5. Mira's moving again. Jeez, okay. So Mira is going to, again, move 4 spaces to the right, just wrapping around. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You do count things like walls, but then they don't go there. You just go to the next available space. So she's going to continue and end up here. And I will cross out her old location. So she's there. She, since the poison darts hit Rose, she didn't step into any traps. She does, wow, she grabs a lot of loot. Okay, she's going to be a priority to take down because she moved into the column with 2 more loot items. She's going to grab this gem and this potion. And now she has everything but a coin. She's worth negative 10 points. I've definitely got to make sure to beat her before the game ends. And then I have a 2 and a 5. So I'm liking the looks of a shade. Horror shades take 2 dice that are both 2 through 5. So you can only deploy 1 if you roll well. And I can place it something like here. And it does 2 things. It would attack, similar to the gargoyle. It would do 1 damage adjacent right now. But also it has the ability that says heroes do not attack if in a row with 1 or more shades. So anytime heroes move into these 3 spaces, they would skip their attack. Speaking of attacks, I forgot Mira should have attacked. She should have, again, rolled a die and attacked a column. 5 again. Well, okay, so that shade wasn't there. let's retcon a little bit. But this gargoyle, she does 1 to all threats in that column. Heroes unless, or sorry, monsters unless otherwise specified have 1 hit point. So that gargoyle is defeated. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but there was nowhere else that heroes could stand next to it, so I guess it's probably fine. All right, fresh round. Okay, it's a good 6 and an evil 6 and 1. Those are trap numbers, but I have a lot of traps. The good 6, wow, it was another good roll. No heroes can activate again. Someday, I swear, some of these other heroes will enter the dungeon. So I have a 1 and a 5. Mira is standing here where I can't deploy monsters next to her. So I guess I just need to deploy them somewhere. I want to fill up the places where I don't have traps. That's my logic, is funnel the enemies into my poison darts by filling up other spots. So I'm going to deploy 2 gargoyles. I'll put like 1 here and 1 here, I guess. It's another path space, but it funnels heroes into the places I want them to go. So we're going to see how that goes for me. Okay, let's do this again. 4, a new hero, Flynn the Thief, enters. Flynn says he gains the next item that he's not yet collected as his ability. Okay, so first, he's going to move 3 spaces down from the door, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. Flynn is going to go here. Oh, this was stupid. I don't know why. Oh, it's the number 4 here. I was writing 4s for Mira. Mira should have been a 5. So let me just utilize these erasable pens, change her to a 5. The 4 there, it's crossed out. It doesn't really hurt anything. And then Flynn is going to move 3 spaces down, and he's number 4. So 1, 2, 3. He goes here. Okay, a lot of things happen now. He's going to grab the coin because he moved into its column. Also, his ability says that he gains the next item. He's not yet collected, so he's going to get a free key. So they are really racking up the negative points. But he's moved into my poison trap. This is the row with the poison trap in it. So I'm going to roll his die, and on a 1 through 4, he takes damage. Sorry, not takes damage, and that was a 4. He gets poisoned. So I'm going to write a P. I'll write it in blue. P here, and he's going to take a damage at the start of all of his future activations. So he's going to get a lot of loot, but hopefully doesn't leave with it. Last but not least, he attacks 1 in his column. So that is going to take out the gargoyle, and it is going to attack me for 1. That's the first point of damage that has come at my boss grid. So I have options. I can either take the damage, it'd be the first hit out of 20 to defeat me, or I can, but there are a lot of heroes that do more damage than 1 at a time. I also could use my armor, spending a die to prevent that damage. I purchased the armor for a reason, right? And I'm not terribly excited about either of these dice. They're not a 6, which would let me slash, because he's on my slash space. So I guess I'll just spend a 5. I'll spend a 5 to prevent that damage. And that leaves me with a 2, which I guess I'm going to place another chopping blade somewhere like here, just so that those columns continue to be bad for the heroes. All right, another round. Wow, I'm weirdly rolling the same numbers on the hero dice. Okay, Flynn activates again. So he moves another 3 down. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. He is here. I wrote a 3. That's that hero number versus movement number is really messing with my head tonight. All right, he is 4. There we go. We're going to cross out his old 4. He's no longer standing there. And he's not in the row or column of any loot. And he is in the column of my chopping blade, which gets to attack here. So I'm going to roll it, and on a 1 through 4, he takes a damage. A 3, he'll take a damage. Also, he should have taken damage from his poison at the start of the turn. So 1, 2 total damage. That's a great start. And then he's going to attack his column. That's frustrating because I was going to use this gargoyle to keep damaging him, but 1 damage takes it out. And with that, no longer... do I want to place a... Alright, I think I'll take the damage. Not prevent it with my armor. And the reason for that is actually because I can spend the cost of a shade to upgrade my shades, which will apply for the rest of the game. So this is a pretty good investment at this point in the game. My understanding is because shades cost 2 dice, it costs 2 dice to fill in 1 of these upgrade pips. I need to do it 1 more time, but then when I do, they'll be attacking for 2 damage at a time, which seems very good. Okay, let's do this. 5 Mira again. Jeez. All right, so she's going to move 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't land there, so she just keeps counting. She's going to land here, right in my area. She is going to get hit by the chopping blade if I roll a 1 through 4. It's a 6. She dodges the chopping blade. She's no longer there. And she's going to roll her die and deal 1 damage to everything in that column. 6. There is nothing there that's damageable. So she's a bad shot. We've been dodging all of her arrows. Okay. That was that turn. Oh, and then I have evil dice. Well, I guess I should just start wailing on her. I will... Putting a gargoyle here means no one else will get hit by my chopping blade. But, oh well, it is what it is, I guess. I'm going to spend a 3 to place a gargoyle right here next to Mira, and it'll attack her for 1. And I can spend the other die to activate the gargoyle again. It'll attack her for another 1. 3 damage on Mira. Okay, fresh round. New hero enters. Gloria, number 3. She's the warrior. She moves 2 spaces from the door to the right. The turn Gloria enters the dungeon, she also attacks any threats within 2 spaces. And then in the future, she'll attack 2 on adjacent spaces only. That's gonna be rough. So she's number 3. She's landing here, 2 spaces over from the door. Okay. Couple things happen. She gets hit by my poison trap and my chopping blade. So let's roll for poison. 4, she is poisoned. And let's roll for chopping. 2, she's chopped. She takes a damage. Traps did their job. Okay. Then now she attacks any threats within 2 spaces on her first turn, which is this turn. And so she is going to hit me because I'm 2 spaces from her. None of the monsters are 2 spaces, but I am. So she's hitting me for 2. One of which I can prevent with an evil die. I think again, I'm going to just take that damage and pour those into attacking Mira. So I'm going to activate this gargoyle next to Mira twice more. Hit her 2 more times. 5 out of 9 damage on her already. Okay, we go again. There's only 2 spaces left. That when they mark those 2 spaces, the dungeon's over. 2, Zafin enters, the wizard. He goes 1 space down from the door, which is going to put him here. That's one of those 2 remaining spaces marked, so this dungeon could end any moment. He moves into my shade row. So his ability says roll, and if a 5 or 6, he would deal 2 damage to all enemies within 3 spaces. That would be pretty brutal. Luckily, the shade prevents him from doing it. So that's nice. He's not on any traps. So it's just to me to spend these 1s. These are annoying. Well, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing what works. I'm going to activate the gargoyle twice more. Hit Mira for another 2. If I just do that again next round, she's a goner. Okay. 3, Gloria moves. She's gonna go 1, 2. She can't land there, so she keeps counting until she can. She lands here, actually, and is in my chopping blade range. So on a 1 through 4, she gets hit. 3, she takes the damage, and also was poisoned, so she takes damage at the start of her activation. Then she attacks 2 to everything adjacent. So that means she takes out my gargoyle and hits me for 2. Ow. Well, I want to save this 6 because Zafin is standing on one of my slash spaces, so I want to slash him. But I'll spend the 1 to prevent one of those damage, and I take 1 damage. Okay, so that leaves me with the 6 to spend. I will activate my slash ability. Deal 1 damage to this space being this upper left one where I have an S marked in my grid for slash, and that is going to, so it deals 1 damage to him. Let's get proper orange for that damage. And he bleeds, which means on all future damage, he takes an extra 1. And he only has 6 hit points, so that should get him down real fast. Okay. Well, this is going to end it. Sigrid the Barbarian enters just to save the day for the heroes and end the dungeon. Because she moves 2 spaces to the right of the door. She will move over. She marks the final path space. So this is the last turn of the game, but we do play the full turn. So Sigrid has moved next to my poison trap. So let's see if we can poison her too. On a 3, we do. All right, put a P there for poison. 3 of them are poisoned. That feels really strong. And then the her ability, it says roll. If I roll a 6, increase her attack by 2 this turn, and then she attacks 1 to adjacent targets, which there aren't any of my targets adjacent to her. Okay, so nothing happens. I can spend these, I believe, but is there anything they can do? It looks like all my monsters are defeated and there's no new places that I can deploy gargoyles that would be useful. And I can't upgrade my shades. Deploying traps the last round doesn't do anything, so I guess I'll just kind of burn those dice, placing 2 more gargoyles. Call it good. All right, I actually feel great about how that went. 4 of the 5 heroes have status effects on them, which is going to burn them down quickly, and the one who doesn't has 2 hit points left. I'm feeling like I might run away with this, but we'll see. Hubris, you know, it's part of being a boss. The Red Eagle Inn is next. First of all, we can see that we're going to roll 2 good dice and 2 evil dice here. So speaking of hubris, the pace that the heroes are coming at me has doubled. So that might, you know, that might be a factor. And then I get 5. I need to draw my boss shape, and I get 5 crystals to spend. So I wish I could kind of go here and occupy their path, because I just think that I could, you know, I could slash a lot and stuff there, but there's a wall here, and I can't put myself on that wall, I don't think. So I guess I'll go here. Put myself here. Draw my boss shape here. Each boss, I assume, has a different shape also, which is one of the many asymmetries between the different setups for this game. Okay, I feel good about that, actually. And now I think I should probably kind of follow through, keep going with my plan, which is to keep slashing. Oops. I'm spending my crystals now, and I started to write them in the dungeon. I'm gonna buy 1 more slash up here and just kind of have that be my kill box. And then I am going to spend the other 4 on 2 runes. And it doesn't really matter where they go, other than that I couldn't put other things there in the future. So 2 runes means I can sacrifice a shade to prevent 2 damage and reflect 2 damage back to the attacker, which seems good. Okay, ready to roll. Let's do it. Good dice have 3 and 6. 6 is nothing. Gloria enters first, though. The turn she enters the dungeon, she attacks any threats within 2 spaces. I have a feeling that will be me. She moves 2 to the right of the door. So 1, 2, comes over here. She lands right there. There is no loot for her to grab. The treasure chest is really, more than anything, it's sort of an homage to the to dungeon pages, where that was the goal. That was sort of the exit, was a chest, because, I don't know, I guess that's when you're done in a dungeon, is when you get the treasure chest. But so it's actually, it might as well be a wall, I think, in this game for the purposes of any mechanics that I've seen so far. Okay. So the 3 and the 1. I should probably deploy traps. The chopping blades did quite a bit of work last time, and I could just deploy 2 of them. They hit a column. So why don't I do that? I'm going to put 1 here, a C, and 1 here. So these 2 columns trigger traps. Okay, go in. I keep rolling 1s. I want to place shades, and I need to roll the right dice for it. Okay, 1 and 4. First, Sigrid the Barbarian is going to enter, moving 2 spaces to the right of the door. She's going to end up here. She's not in my traps. She attacks 1 to adjacent things. She rolls a die to see if it becomes 3 instead, but she's not adjacent to anything, so not an issue. Then 4, Flynn the Thief enters. He is going to... Oh, I'm sorry. They both should have suffered poison damage. Actually, so should Gloria. Gloria and Sigrid and now Flynn take poison damage, and Flynn is going to move 3 down from the door. 1, 2, 3. So he is number 4. He did not have this gem yet, so he will grab that. And he'll grab the potion from his ability. Gains the next item that he has not yet collected. And he's going to attack 1 in his column, which there's nothing there. Sweet. Okay. Oh, wait. My dice. I have a 1 and a 2. Not really the numbers I'm looking for. But they can deploy gargoyles, so I will. Let's put a G here. And that is going to attack Sigrid. She's the one. Oh, and I'm sorry. She landed in this coins column, so she should grab that coin. She has a coin now. Do I want a new gargoyle, or do I want to just activate that same one? I want... I'm not that afraid of Sigrid. She only attacks adjacent spaces, so a lot of the time she might just miss me. Flynn attacking his whole column, I find that scarier. I want to take him off the table first. So I'm going to deploy one more gargoyle next to Flynn, and it'll attack him for one. All right. 4-5 for the heroes, and then 6-2 for me. Well, I can get a poison dart if I want another one, but almost everyone's poisoned. Probably don't need it. Anyway, let's do their turns first. Flynn is going to activate. His poison goes off. He has 3 hit points left. Then he's going to move down 3. 1, 2, 3. He cruises through to this space. Cross out his old one. He's in the chopping blade. So I'm going to roll this die. On a 1 through 4, he gets hit. It's a 2. He's hit. And he attacks his column, which is me. Annoying. Do I want to... So these dice are active. Do I want to sacrifice one? Yeah. I think so. Really, with so many heroes poisoned, the longer that I can sort of drag this game out, the more damage I do. So, spending dice on this not only prevents me from dying, but it prevents me from having to spend those dice deploying things into the grid, filling up the grid more slowly. The game lasts longer, the poison can tick. Seems like a good plan to me. So yes, I will go ahead and spend my 2 to prevent 1 damage. And that's it. That's all he dealt. I had rolled a 4 and a 5, and so I think that this used to be the 4 for Flynn. This 5 I still need to resolve. That's Mira. So she is going to enter and move 4 spaces right of the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then circle around and land here. So Mira is standing there, and then she is not in any traps. She is not grabbing any loot because it's already claimed. So she will just roll to see which column she attacks. Column 5. Well, I'm in that column. I don't want to spend this die because I want to use it to slash. So I'm going to take that damage. Okay, then it is to me. And Flynn is standing on my slash, so I can spend the 6 to hit him. That is going to deal a damage and apply bleed, although he's going to die to poison at the start next time he activates. So he's as good as dead unless I don't roll any more 4s at this game, in which case he would survive and keep all this loot. So we'll see how the dungeon goes. There's a chance I want to just like poke him with a gargoyle or something to finish him off just to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, fresh roll. Okay, roll a 6, that's nothing. 5, Mira activates again. She's going to move 4 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mira is now there. She already has a potion, so she won't grab the one in the dungeon. And she's not in any of my traps. Okay, she's rolling to see where she attacks. It is 4. That's going to hit me. I'm going to take that damage because I rolled a 2 and a 3, and I actually want to use it to upgrade my shades. So now when I deploy shades, they deal 2 damage. That seems pretty good. Okay, that's it. I'm rolling again. 3 and a 4. All right, Gloria activates, takes her poison damage. And she's not entering the dungeon, so she's not going to attack everyone within 2 spaces. So she'll just move over 2, 1, 2, all the way to here, which is in my chopping blade zone. So let's roll this die to see if I hit her on a 1 through 4. I don't. She dodges the chopping blade. She's a dexterous warrior. Okay, and then she attacks 2 adjacent, and let me cross off her old location. She is adjacent to me, so she's attacking me for 2. Well, what am I doing? I don't have the dice to deploy one of my upgraded shades, so Maybe I do prevented damage here. Yeah, I'll use that. Just prevent damage, take 1. Alright, 7 damage on me, 13 health left, but it's starting to add up. And then Flynn activates with a 4. He is going to die to poison. Flynn is dead. And that leaves me with a 6. So I can... Oh, I saved it thinking I would slash Flynn, but Flynn is not there to attack anymore. So I guess I will deploy a gargoyle. Let's just spend it putting a gargoyle here, I guess. I don't love that, but it does damage Gloria. That seems alright. Okay, new round. Okay, it's a good 1 and a 6. 6 does nothing. 1 is going to activate Sigrid. She will move 2 to the right. 1, 2, but she's going to loop all the way around to here. And she's not in any traps. She rolls to see whether she goes barbarian mode. No. So she just attacks 1 to adjacent threats, which is me. Again, I can't shade. So I guess I'll go ahead and spend a die to prevent it. And that leaves me with a 4. I'm going to just use the 4 to activate this gargoyle and hit Gloria again. Also, I think I forgot Sigrid was poisoned, so there's 1 for her. 2 and 3 for good. Means Zafin is going to enter the dungeon. He just tries to move 1 space down from the door, but it's going to loop all the way over to here. Oops, I wrote a 1 because he moved 1 space again. No, brain. He's a 2. Alright. He's in my chopping blade space, so I can roll his die on a 1 through 4. He gets chopped. It's a 5. He also dodges it. That's a shame because he is bleeding, so he would take an extra point of damage. Well, you can't win them all. Okay, and then his ability is to roll. If a 5 or 6, he deals 2 to all enemies within 3 spaces. That's not great. Let's see. He rolled a 4, so he's fine. And then Gloria activates, moving 2 to the right. She is number 3, so she's going to go 1, 2, moving over to here. That completes their path. Oh, wow. That came out of nowhere. She does take a poison damage. But, yeah, I didn't realize the dungeon was going to end that fast. Well, such is life, I guess. Okay, well, let's finish her turn. She's not in a trap. She can grab this key. So she will. And the attack. She attacks 2 of adjacent. She's attacking me for 2? I kind of... Yeah, I'll use armor. I'll just take 1. And then with my remaining die, I'll activate the gargoyle next to her, deal 1 damage, and she'll die to poison the next time she's activated. Feels good. And with that, that's the Red Eagle Inn. 2 down, 1 to go. Alright, so Flynn is down. Gloria is down as soon as she activates. So what's going to happen with... Excuse me. Now that I'm all bearded up. Whenever a hero that is defeated activates, that we're going to just move to the right and activate the next one. So I'm not, by taking them off the table, I'm not preventing hero turns. Still only rolling 6s can do that. But I do kind of know who's going to act more. So I know that Mira's next. And I know that she only has 2 hit points. Like that she's going to be, what am I saying? She's going to be acting more until she's down. So probably I want to just, as soon as she appears, take her down with a shade, and deal 2 damage, and just take her off the table. Then Sigrid and Zafin will start acting a lot. Sigrid is poisoned, Zafin is bleeding, but they both have pretty big health pools left, so that's where hopefully my rune plan comes in. I want to deploy some shades, ideally deploy them, deal 2 damage when they come out, and then sacrifice them to deal a bunch of damage when I get attacked. So looking at the sewers, I think I'm going to spend my 6 crystals, and it's really the only way to spend all 6 because I'm running out of space, on rune, rune, rune. And now if I get attacked by a hero and I have a shade I can sacrifice, that's a lot. That's a couple ifs, but if the stars align, I nuke them for 5 damage and prevent the damage they would do to me. I'm hoping, like I said, high risk, high reward is how I like to play, hoping that that works out. Here in the sewers, it's awkward. I can't stand anywhere in the center. So I don't care that much about slashing anymore. If anything, I want to get attacked a lot. Right? I want to take hits so that I can reflect with the runes. So I kind of think I'm just going to go up in the upper left, which I think is like likely to get hit the most. Here we go. And that means I'm standing here. Annoyingly, I'm standing on the path helping them complete it. Hopefully I down them before they do. All right. That's it. Final battle is in the sewers. I've just got to deal, 20-ish health. I think it'll be fine. Here we go. Oh, and again, we can see that it's 2 good dice, 2 evil dice. Okay. Evil dice are 1 and 2. Good dice are 1 and 4. So Sigrid starts it off, moving 2 spaces to the right of the door, which puts her all the way to here. She's number 1. She can grab a potion, so she will. And then she attacks 1 if adjacent. And she rolls a die to see if she increases her damage, but nothing's adjacent, so she doesn't do anything else. She did have poison, though, so she took 1 from that. All right, then the 4 is Flynn, but that becomes Mira. So this is sort of what I expected. Mira is going to try to move 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to end up landing here. Okay, that seems fine. She can grab the coin. And that means I can place a shade next to her if I get the dice for it soon and knock her out. Until then, I don't have much of a plan. She's sitting here without any status effects, kind of wearing her down. Okay, I have a 2 and a 1. I could just gargoyle her. Do I just gargoyle her? I don't see why not. I'm just gonna put a G here, like spend the 2 to deploy the gargoyle, and it attacks for 1. And then spend the 1 to activate the gargoyle again. She's defeated. I think that's good. All right, fresh roll. Oh, holy 5s. Okay, so these 2 5s that would have activated Mira are going to be Sigrid instead, and so. Haha. Mosquito just landed on me and I got it. Did I talk about this for some reason this November in LA. I don't know if the mosquitoes have been driven inside by rain or what, but we've had a lot of mosquitoes. So I talked about this on our Regicide Legacy campaign, which I highly recommend. We're having a blast on there. But it's I talk about it on a video that, because we're filming so far ahead because we're binging that campaign, it'll be up in January. But I'm immune to mosquito bites now. It's happened gradually over the last few years. When they bite me, nothing happens. I don't get a bump. It's not itchy. I looked this up. It's a thing. It wasn't even ChatGPT. It was from a reputable source that told me that, yes, it's a thing to build up a tolerance to mosquitoes. It's great. I highly recommend it. All it takes is several hundred mosquito bites, and maybe they won't bother you either. Okay, so Sigrid is going to move to here. Just basically 2 spaces to the right is going to land her here. Can she grab a key? She can. She takes the key. And she is poisoned, so she should have taken 1 damage. And then she attacks if adjacent. There's still nothing adjacent to her. But she activates again, because that's, again, Mira, and then it cycles over to Sigrid. So she's going to move another 2 spaces and land here. That gives her her last piece of loot. She has a full bag having grabbed that gem. And she attacks 1 if adjacent, nothing adjacent. So my plan of sending them at me has not worked so far, but also neither has deploying shades, and so maybe that's fine. I think I probably just Oh, I again wrote a 4 for. I'm realizing I wrote a 4 for Mira, and it should have been a 5. My brain has a really hard time writing the correct numbers for these heroes. All right, so I think I just pour these into gargoyles then and just deal damage. Right? I can't. Because these are not both 2 through 5. I can't deploy a shade, but I can deploy a gargoyle, deal 1 damage, and then activate the gargoyle to deal another 1 damage. That has her at 3 hit points and she's bleeding. Seems alright. Okay, here goes. There's a shadeable roll. Okay. And I rolled a 6, 1 less hero activation. That is great. So the 4 is going to cycle over and be Sigrid yet again. This is what we expected. Poison takes down 1 health. And then she's going to move 2 spaces, which is going to put her here, right next to the gargoyle if I want to target her. That's her activation because she attacks if adjacent. Oh, she attacks if adjacent. She takes out this gargoyle. Okay, never mind. So I couldn't attack her with that. But what I can do is with a 4 and a 5 deploy a shade. Oops, let me use my orange because we can't tell my S's apart from my 5s. That shade is going to deal 2 damage since I've upgraded it to an adjacent target. Sigrid has 2 health left. Sigrid is defeated. Hell yeah. Let's get her crossed out. Sweet. Okay. And I have a shade I can sacrifice when I get attacked. So like if Zephin comes in and lands an attack on me, I reflect 5 damage at him. Which would become 6 and exactly kill him because he's bleeding. I think I got this in the bag. Let's play it out. A 1 and a 2. These are both going to activate Zephin. So 1 would be Sigrid. It's Zephin instead. He's going to move 1 space down from the door right into my area here. He's number 2. All right. Then he's going to roll, and on a 5 or 6, he attacks all enemies within 3 spaces. I want him to land this attack so that I can kill him with my rune explosion. He doesn't. Okay. But now he activates again, because I rolled 2. He's going to move down 1 space. He's now there. And same thing, he's going to roll on a 5 or 6. He attacks me, but I blow him up. 5! We got it! We got it! We did it! He does 2 damage to all enemies within 3 spaces. There are no other enemies, it's just me. He attacks me for 2, but I can sacrifice this shade to trigger my runes, preventing 1 damage per rune that I have. That's 5, so it prevents all his damage. And it deals 5 back to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and his bleeding status effect amps that by 1. Zephin is no more. All that's left is Gloria, and when she activates, her poison finishes her off. I'm just going to celebrate by deploying some gargoyles on the path, because why not with these 2 dice, so that I can roll again, activate Gloria, and win this game. Okay, a 4 is Flynn. I was all the way around activating Gloria. She dies to poison. I kind of crushed it. That was better than my off-camera plays. This is 50 points, right? She's down. The scoring is gain 10 points for each defeated hero and lose points for stolen items. Stolen items means they have to survive, so I just get 50 points. Had 12 hit points left. Wow, crushed it. So I'm really enjoying this. Between the 2 puzzles, I think I like Dungeon Pages a little bit better, but it's kind of just, I don't even know if I can articulate why. It might even just be a familiarity thing, where I've played Dungeon Pages dozens of times. I've played through all 6 of its core set pages, and then at least like 10 pages of the year-long adventure, and that is more than 1 attempt on many of them, because that game is hard. I didn't mean to say that game is hard to reflect on this. That was not the intention of that sentence. But that game is hard. So yeah, I think I like that puzzle better, and maybe just because it feels a little bit more feels a little bit more expressive. I don't know. Underboss, I only have this one demo page. Um, I'm I'm it felt obvious to me to do the rune thing, and that's because there were so many crystals that I could fill up my grid with like the two costs things. So I almost wonder if it's too generous with these crystals. But and then the heroes are very cool, but I worry that they are going to be samey from game to game. Like, even if you have five new heroes, if kind of what they all do is like, oh, they move and then do some sort of variety of attacking, then as a whole they're going to feel samey, even if there are five new heroes. So I'm looking for pages. I'm looking forward to seeing pages that have maybe a little tighter constraints on bosses. This was enough crystals to do whatever I wanted with my whole grid, and that feels like too many. And then I would also be looking for heroes that have. Not that there's anything wrong with this page. I'm not criticizing this page. I just mean that once I've obtained 24 pages, I hope that we see some parties of heroes that have cool synergies between the heroes, right? Like that one of them, like they get rewarded if they happen to stand next to each other, or just like kind of dramatically different things, and then maybe entire new parties meant to synergize in a way that will make the party feel different from this party. Because just switching out like one or two that deal damage in a slightly different, shape or something. They deal damage diagonally or whatever. That's not going to feel like enough variety, I think, with the heroes for me. And because as far as kind of what's going on below the boss, you've only got two things happening. It's the heroes and it's the shapes of the dungeons. And the shapes of the dungeons didn't feel terribly impactful to me. And so the heroes, I hope, do feel impactful. And I only have this one page. I can't judge that at all. I'm just talking about kind of what I hope this game is aspiring to do. Would be to present really interesting combinations of heroes and these parties that present really different puzzles. And then the boss, though, I think is great. This is obviously all going to change from boss to boss. And there's dotted lines here because you can mix and match actually all these parts. So when there's more pages, I can play Thera in a different dungeon against a different party. That's all super cool. But also just have another boss with all new abilities and all new monsters and all new traps. Like, I have no concerns there that's going to feel really different from page to page, and that's, I think, going to be the highlight. And it makes sense. It's a game called Underboss where you are the big bad defending their dungeon. I would hope that that's really unique and interesting from adventure to adventure. So I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I've been a terrible YouTuber, and I don't think to this point that I have suggested I don't think that to this point I have suggested that you hit the buttons below the video. There's a like button, there's a subscribe button, there's a comment button. Optimal Play has no Patreon or anything like that, so those buttons are the one and only way to help us out and help us grow if you appreciate the content we put out on the channel. So we appreciate if you make sure to hit those. And thank you again to P&P Arcade for providing this demo of Dungeon Pages Underboss. I really enjoyed it, and you can check out their Kickstarter on Black Friday, November 28th, 2025. Or if you're watching this in the future, I know because I've bought a lot of their games, pnparcade.com will be the place you can buy it. Maybe it's a little cheaper on the Kickstarter, but it'll still be extremely affordable for a lot of content. So check that out. This is not a commercial for them. They just sent me the demo, but I really like what they're doing, and when it comes to print and play, I don't really like to print a lot of cards and a lot of components and have to sleeve them because they're printed on printer paper and stuff. But these kinds of games where it's just like dice and a page, very much my jam. I'm always excited to try a new high quality one, and I've been playing them a lot on the channel, so you can find more of them on there too. Okay, I've gone on long enough. I'm going to finish my beer and give my voice a rest. And until next time, be optimal.